What's up, you guys? Real quick, an announcement to make. I just signed a deal with Poker Bros and I am officially on Team Bros. I'll leave an article down in the description if you want to check that out. I do play on a club. It is my own club. I'll put the club ID right up here if you guys are interested in playing with me. A lot of people from TikTok came over and a lot of people from this channel have already started playing with me. And another cool thing is I actually, because I'm Team Poker Bros, I have my face on the app, but you can play with my face, which would be super cool. And then people would be like, who's that? I'd be like, oh, it's Wolfgang. Team Poker Bros now, got the merch, and you can play with my face on the app. Once again, if you want to play with me, here's my club ID, and just message my buddy right up here and he'll get you into the game. $300 in our stack. We look down at Ace of Diamonds, King of Hearts from middle position. I raise to 15. The cutoff calls, under the gun +1 calls, so going 3 ways to the flop here with 48 in the pot, which is a good board for us. Comes King of Spades, 9 of Clubs, 10 of Spades. We have top. But with the straight draw possible and us out of position here, I decided to check and the cutoff does as well, so we're off to the turn. Turn comes a 7 of Diamonds and it checks to me again here. Now let's get some money in the pot. I bet 15. I expect the cutoff to call here with all pairs plus straight draws, but instead he raises us to $45. Under the gun +1 gets out of the way, and with only 6-8 and Jack-8 improving here on the turn, I decide to call. Heads up to the river here comes the deuce of clubs, which is a pretty big blank. I check and flow now, expecting the opponent to bet with all missed straight draws, and that's what he does. He bets this time basically for pot $125. I don't think we can be folding top pair, top kicker here when we play it in this fashion, so I put in the call. Unfortunately for us though, the opponent shows one of the hands that beats us here, 6-8 offsuit for the turn straight, and he's rewarded that $388 pot. We rebuy for $245 and we top off our stack to $300. We look down at Ace-5 of Spades here from the cutoff. The hijack raises to 20. I put in the call here and 4 other players do as well, so going 6 ways to the flop. No shortage of action here in Texas. The flop comes deuce of hearts, 6 of spades, 3 of diamonds. We have a backdoor flush draw and a straight draw. Life's pretty good here. The hijack continues to bet now for $85. I have a lot of possibilities here, so I decide to stick in the 85 and everybody else folds. Heads up to the turn here with 290 in the pot comes the deuce of spades. Pretty interesting card because although we do pick up more outs with the flush draw, it pairs the board, thereby potentially nullifying any spade on the river if the opponent already boated up. The opponent now goes all in, which is telling a good story here. He was the one though to raise to $20 pre-flop, so I think it's likely here that he has an overpair. And additionally, our ace could be good as well if we hit it. So with potentially 15 outs here, and we're trying to build a stack here in Texas, I call. He immediately shows the pocket 3, so no matter the river, we're dead. Unfortunate for us here, the river comes an inconsequential queen of diamonds. The opponent's going to scoop that $770 pot. Rough start for us. We add on for $300 more and we look down at pocket 9s here from the under the gun +1 position. Under the gun straddles to 15. I raise it up to $50 and CJ, our buddy here on the button, puts in the call. The straddle folds, so going heads up to the flop here with 118 in the pot, which comes 9-7-7. Bang! We feel like Noah's Ark here. We have ourselves a boat. I don't really know what I'm getting value from here, so I decide to check, hoping that CJ either stabs or takes the free card and catches up on the turn. And that's what he does. He decides to check, so we're going off to the turn. Turn comes the 6 of hearts now, bringing in some straights like 10-8 and 8-5. I bet $45 now, hoping that the 6 just helped him in some way. To our dismay though, it didn't. CJ folds his cards and he later says he had ace-jack. Oh well. Pocket kings now from the big blind and the cutoff raises to $15. The button calls, the small blind calls, a great spot for us here with pocket kings, but the price is way too low. We pop it up to $65. The cutoff now puts in the call, telling the story of a pretty good hand, and the button wants to play for his entire stack. He shoves it in, 112 total. Small blind gets out of the way, and I ship it, covering the cutoff here for $150 more. and he puts in the call. We're off to a run out now. Let's try to triple up here. The run out comes 8 of clubs, deuce of clubs, 3 of hearts. Pretty good for us so far. The turn comes the 6 of clubs, bringing in a flush potentially, but the river comes the 10 of spades. We flip over our cards, expecting to win a large portion of the time here, and that's the case this time when all the opponents fold, and we're going to scoop that pot. 680 now in our stack. We look down at ace king of clubs from the big blind. The small blind raises to 16. I 3-bet the opponent now to $57, and the small blind's trying to get sticky here. He puts in the call, so going heads up to the flop. 114 in the pot. The flop comes ace high, ace, deuce, jack. We also have 2 clubs. We flop the absolute world. The small blind checks, and I decide to check behind here, looking to see what happens on the turn. Turn comes the 8 of hearts, pretty inconsequential card. He checks again now, which is not really good news for us. It doesn't look like he's interested in the pot. I still need to bet though. I fire $65 for value, and apparently he likes something on that board though. He puts in the call. Alright, let's go to the river. 244 in the pot comes the 4 of hearts. He checks again here, and I think this is a clear value spot. We block a bunch of the flush draws though that he would be calling us on the turn with. So I think his hand is weighted more towards value, like a made hand. So I decided to bet here $127, which is around half pot. And the opponent shows us an ace, but then mucks. So maybe we bet too big there. Maybe our line just screams strength. I don't really know. I decided not to bet the flop there and bet the river instead. I like the decision, and unfortunately for us, he makes a great fold. We're off to the next hand. $800 in our stack. We look down at queen 10 of diamonds from the under the gun position. I raise it up to 15. We get 3 callers here, so we're going off to the flop 4 ways, which comes 3, 5, 3. Action checks to me. I decided to go for a very light c-bet here, just hoping nobody really connected with this board. I bet $11. To our dismay though, my right puts in the call. Heads up to the turn here with 82 in the pot comes the queen of spades. Bailing us out now with top pair. The opponent checks to my right in flow again, and I think a bet is a standard play here. But at the same time, I doubt I'm getting 3 streets of value here from any hand that I have beat. So I decide to check and have him pay me off on the river potentially. The river comes to 4 of diamonds, so ace, deuce, and 6, 7 now get there. But when my right bet's $40, I pretty much just have to call when checking back the turn. I'm expecting to see either a bluff here or a straight for the most part. And the opponent surprises us here when he shows deuce of hearts, 3 of hearts for trips, and scoops. So I guess opponents here are calling $15 pre with 3 high. Duly noted. We're in the big blind. We look down at ace jack offsuit, and the button raises to 15. I put in the call here, and I'm the only one to do so. We're heads up to the flop, which comes ace, 10, 5. I check and flow here, and the button c-bets for $30. Nothing else to do here but call, so that's what I do. The turn with 91 in the pot comes the queen of spades, which doesn't change too much. We were already behind ace queen, but now king jack now makes Broadway. I check again here in flow, and the opponent decides to bet the exact same $30 bet. I don't think a raise makes too much sense here because only better hands are going to call us. We're going to fold out all weaker hands, so I just stick the $30 in and we're off to the river. River pairs the board. It comes to 5 of hearts now, and I check again looking to evaluate his bet size. Instead, it appears he's giving up when he checks behind. The opponent shows king 10 for a pair of 10s on the flop. We flip over our hand and we're going to scoop that pot. Pocket jiggities now from the big blind. A few limps to me. I raise it to 15 and we get 1 caller. Heads up to the flop here, which comes queen, 9, 5, rainbow. The opponent checks in flow to me, and I make a standard c-bet here for $15. The opponent calls. The turn with 64 in the pot comes a 9 of hearts, pairing the board. The opponent checks again. I decide that my hand is too weak here to get multiple bets, so I decide to check. The river comes the 6 of clubs, bringing in 7, 8, but otherwise a blank. The opponent bets $45 now into 64, and I think we just have to put in the money and say nice hand if we're beat. It's possible he has a queen, but it's also possible that he has a pair in some type of straight draws or other weird type hands. So I call. Sure enough though, he shows 10-9 for the turn trips, and his efforts are rewarded here with that $154 pot. We had enough of that table. Time for a table change here. Our buddy Alex on the floor suggests another table. We're going to check it out here. First hand a note from this table, we look down at Jack 8 of spades from the under the gun position. I'm looking to get involved in some pots at this action table, so I limp. My left raises $20, and there's 3 callers to me, and I'm pretty much pot committed at this point, so I put in the additional $17 and call. 5 ways to the flop here comes 9, 10, deuce, rainbow. Pretty decent board for us here with the open-ended straight draw, and no flush draw in sight. I check. My left bet's $50 and the middle position goes all in for $69, and the action's on me. With all that money in there, I can't resist. I put in the call and my left calls as well. The turn with 307 it comes the 4 of diamonds. Absolute dud of a card. I check and somehow my left decides to give us a free card and checks behind. We'll take it all day. The river comes to 8 of hearts, which although gives us a pair, it really shouldn't give us the best hand too often with 2 other players in the hand. I check. My left now bets $50 into the dry side pot, which pretty much screams a really good hand, and I fold. Sure enough, my left shows pocket jacks, which is definitely good enough to take down the pot. 630 in our stack, we look down ace 10 of hearts from the small blind. Middle position raises to $20, and I put in the call. Under the gun limper calls as well, so going 3 ways to the flop here. Flop is 10 high, comes 10, 3, 3, giving us top pair. I check. Under the gun checks, and middle position now continues and bets $30. The middle position player is the one that raised pre to $20, so I'm putting his range on overcards primarily, as well as some pocket pairs that I have beat. For that reason, I decided to mix it up and make an unstandard min raise to $60 here, just looking to see what he does. The under the gun position player folds, and middle position now looks befuddled, and it appears our weird line confuses him to our benefit when he folds pocket jacks face up on the flop. But welcome to Texas. Our min raise here on the flop is going to get a better hand to fold. Strange way to play pocket jacks, I guess. 600 now in our stack. We look down at queen 10 offsuit from the big blind. Under the gun +1 raises to 12. There's 3 calls to me. I'm not a nit. I'm not folding queen 10 offsuit from the big blind here. I defend, and we're going 5 ways to the flop. Flop's a bad one for us. Comes jack deuce 6. The small blind checks to me. I decide to check, and surprisingly, no one else wants to take a stab. It gets checked around. Turn comes the 8 of spades now, giving us a gutter to the straight, additionally bringing in the spade flush draw. The small blind checks again, and when the action checked through on the flop, I doubt anyone has a jack or a strong one for that matter. I'm pretty much the only one that could have one based on the action, so I decided to rep it and take a stab here for $15. It's good to note though that I am looking to fire big on the river if we do get called in any spots here. That's exactly what happens. 3 opponents put in the call. Oh boy, let's see what comes on the river. The river with 120 in the pot comes a jack of diamonds, which is a decent card because it makes it even less likely that the others have one. However, we still need to consider what the 3 other players called us with on the turn. It's possible that someone had a spade draw, or maybe a pair of 8s that didn't believe that we had a jack. But we can't win the spot here with our queen high, so I stay true to our word here and I fire $100. Luckily for us, everyone folds. Phew, we're gonna take down that pot. Drop a like real quick for me here for that decent bluff I just made. 1-3, we got a straddle to 10, a 20, 40, 80, but the 160 won't put it in. We boo that guy.
Way to go. What if I don't?
I hope you have a good hand. I don't know if I've ever played with you before.
How could he not put 160 in? What the heck? Next hand then, we run it back and the guy does the $80 straddle. Finally, the button goes all in blind and the action gets crazy.
Oh, I fucked up.
Yeah, I'll take that side pot.
Ace.
Which side?
Ace high for the side pot?
Wait,
Yeah, you got counterfeit.
Ace.
Two pair. Your Air Force, no.
You got 5 7s with an ace.
Oh, damn. I didn't even see that.
I'm going to give a shout out to the player on my right all night. His name is Jerry and he watches the vlog. Shout out to you, man. We rack up our chips and head to the cage. We got out of the game for 505, so a loss of 395. All right, you guys, that does it for our session here at the lodge. Got into that game for 900, out for 505, so a net loss of 395, which isn't terrible considering all the bomb pots and action that was going that way. Unfortunately, we just couldn't get our hands on some of those larger pots, but shout out to Alex, the best floor manager here in Texas. for putting us on that action-packed table and setting us up for success. We just couldn't get the job done tonight. As always though, thanks for watching this video. If you're new here, consider subscribing. The videos are only getting better from here. Leave a like, leave a comment down below. I'll definitely check out the comments and respond to as many as possible. Good luck on the felt as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace! Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.